Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before starting the video, please subscribe and keep watching for more details videos. Deserves it all. Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula send heartwarming messages to Taylor Townsend after her Citi DC Open doubles triumph. The sun beamed down over Washington, D.C., its golden light glinting off the trophy that Taylor Townsend raised high above her head. She was smiling, no glowing, with a joy that seemed to rise not just from victory, but from something deeper, something earned over years of grit, setbacks, self-belief, and love for the game. In that moment, as confetti fluttered across the court of the Citi DC Open, the tennis world paused to celebrate not just a win, but a woman who had climbed mountains many never saw. Within minutes of the final point, social media erupted with praise, and two messages stood out with particular warmth and resonance. From one corner of the globe, Coco Gauff posted a picture of Taylor hoisting the trophy with a caption that read, "She deserves it all. You inspire me every time you step on that court." Proud doesn't even cover it. Jessica Pegula followed with her own words, "From fighting the odds to lifting trophies, no one works harder or uplifts others more than you do. You earned this. You always do." These weren't empty platitudes. They were genuine reflections from two of tennis' most powerful women, each understanding in her own way what Townsend's journey represented, not just as a player, but as a person who had long been underestimated, overlooked, and under-celebrated. A victory etched in grit. Taylor Townsend's Citi DC Open doubles title wasn't just another tournament win. It was a culmination. Partnering with her fellow American, Townsend played with a flair that only she brings to the court. Those magical hands at the net, the bold angles, the surprising drop shots that seemed to whisper, "Remember me?" But beyond the tactics and technique, it was Taylor's resilience that stole the show. She had been here before, almost. A rising junior prodigy, then a top 100 player, then a new mother, then a comeback story. Her journey had more chapters than most athletes ever write. Yet, she never let any page define her. And that's what makes this moment so profound. As Coco Gauff later elaborated in a courtside interview, Taylor showed us that you can pause and still press play again. She's a mom. She's a mentor. She's a machine on the court, and she's us. She's the proof that the story doesn't end when others stop reading. The bonds behind the baseline. What's remarkable about Townsend's win isn't just the victory. It's the web of sisterhood woven around her. Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula aren't just her fellow WTA stars. They are allies, fans, and perhaps, most importantly, believers. At press events, Gauff often speaks of Taylor as someone who broke down walls so others like her could walk through the door. "Taylor walked so I could run," she said once during a Grand Slam media day. People don't realize how much she endured, not just in matches, but in how people viewed her body, her style, her journey. And she kept showing up. She kept smiling. That's greatness. Jessica Pegula, too, has always had a soft spot for the heart-overhyped kind of athlete that Townsend represents. "There's a quiet storm about her," Pegula once said. "She's as dangerous on the court as anyone, but you'd never know it by how kind and grounded she is off of it." Tennis needs more Taylors. So when they sent those messages, "Deserves it all," it wasn't PR. It was poetry. It was personal. From shadow to spotlight, Townsend's win felt like the world remembering something it forgot. Her story had too often been told through the lens of potential unfulfilled, as if her early success and later setbacks painted a tragic arc. But those who looked closer saw something different, a woman choosing her pace, her priorities, her path. After giving birth to her son, Adam, Taylor faced another uphill climb, physically, emotionally, and professionally. She trained with a baby monitor beside her, stretched between diapers and practice sessions. She flew coach with a stroller and racket bag, balancing the roles of athlete and mother with grace and fire. So when she stood victorious in D.C., tears in her eyes, trophy in hand, she wasn't just representing her past. She was redefining her present. And the fans felt it. The applause was louder, the cheers longer, the standing ovation more heartfelt. They weren't just witnessing a win. They were witnessing a reckoning with the idea that only one kind of journey is valid in tennis or in life. A message for the future. Coco's tribute didn't stop at a social media post. The next day, she arrived at practice, wearing a customized hat that read, "TT deserves it all." When asked by reporters, she laughed, then grew thoughtful. "I think too many people try to box us in by age, by size, by background, by whether we took the normal path." Taylor didn't fit in those boxes, so she made her own. And now she's winning with it. I want every little black girl playing tennis right now to see that, to know that. Pegula, for her part, used her post-match press conference to advocate for more visibility and respect for players like Townsend. Honestly, the WTA and sponsors need to get behind her story. It's what this sport is about. Passion, grit, humanity. Taylor's not a side note. She's the headline. More than title. What Townsend achieved in DC goes far beyond a trophy or a paycheck. She cracked the glass ceiling with her smile intact. She proved that excellence doesn't always follow the timeline others expect, that success can take a winding road and still end in glory. In the days after the win, videos of her dancing with her son in the locker room went viral. Her laughter echoed through Instagram stories, and her joy seemed contagious, as if the tennis world had caught a case of believing again. In one video, Gauff commented, "Look at that joy. That's what it's all about. Not rankings. Not critics. That joy." The movement continues. Townsend's story is not a singular event. It's a movement, a ripple effect that inspires players and fans alike to see the beauty in alternative paths. It's a call to celebrate not just early success, but enduring spirit. She has now become a beacon for those sidelined by injury, discouraged by critics, or delayed by life's detours. She's a blueprint for balance between ambition and motherhood, discipline and joy, silence and strength. And through it all, her sisters in sport, Coco and Jessica included, remain in her corner, reminding the world, she deserves it all. A final note from the court. The Citi DC Open may have ended, but the impact of Townsend's win lingers like a melody in the air. Gauff and Pegula's messages weren't just for Taylor, they were for all of us. For the woman chasing a dream after midnight feedings. For the player who feels overlooked after injury. For the kid who's told they don't look like a champion. Taylor Townsend's journey, crowned with gold in DC, says this loud and clear. You are worthy. You are powerful. And yes, you deserve it all. Deserves it all. Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula send heartwarming messages to Taylor Townsend after her Citi DC Open doubles triumph. The Washington night sky glowed with a buzz of celebration. Fans, families, and fellow players all stood in awe as Taylor Townsend, radiant with pride, raised her arms in triumph at the Citi DC Open. Alongside her partner, the dynamic and equally fierce Asia Muhammad, she had just clinched one of the most emotional victories of her career. The applause that rolled through the stadium was not just for a trophy. It was for the journey, the comeback, the resilience, and the woman who had come through it all. And no one understood that better than Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula. The moment Taylor Townsend's name echoed across the court as the champion, messages began flooding in. Among the first were heartfelt notes from Gauff and Pegula, two of the most prominent voices in American tennis, and two women who knew the weight Townsend had carried for years. She deserves it all, Coco Gauff tweeted, followed by a flurry of emojis, clapping hands, fire heart. So proud of you at Taylor Townsend. You fought for this moment, and it's just the beginning. Flex biceps, medium dark skin tone, fire, sparkling heart, #champion energy. Jessica Pegula, never one for overly emotional social media posts, wrote something short, simple, and deeply moving. Every ounce of that trophy belongs to you. So proud, Tay. The backstory of grit. Townsend's story has never been a smooth one. From being the #1 junior in the world to facing body shaming and structural challenges from the tennis establishment, her journey has tested every fiber of her being. At times, her story seemed less about matches and rankings and more about battling the narratives written about her. As a young teen, Townsend was told by USTA officials that her body wasn't fit for elite competition. This, despite her winning junior Grand Slams and topping the rankings. The sting of those criticisms didn't just wound her pride. They threatened to derail a dream. But Taylor didn't stop. Instead of bowing out, she sharpened her serve, redefined her net game, and became a double specialist whose style reminded fans of the golden era. Serve and volley flair, with fearless poise. Over the years, she became a role model for perseverance, especially for players who didn't fit the mold of traditional tennis archetypes. And it wasn't lost on her peers. A moment bigger than tennis. As Gauff and Pegula followed Townsend's final in Washington from afar, both women understood what that moment meant. In her post-match press conference, Coco elaborated on her tweet. Taylor's one of those players who's had to work twice as hard to get half the recognition. She's faced unfair criticism, had to come back from setbacks, and never once did she lose her smile. That one wasn't just about tennis. That was a statement. She deserves it all. Gauff, now a Grand Slam champion herself, has often spoken about the need for more inclusive representation in tennis, and Townsend has been a major part of that conversation. Their bond is built not just on friendship, but shared battles. Battles for respect, representation, and redefining what a champion looks like. Jessica Pegula echoed similar sentiments in a Tennis Channel interview. Taylor has been one of the most underrated forces on the tour. The way she reads the game, the way she leads on court, it's genius. She's a mother, a fighter, a sister to so many of us out here. Watching her lift that trophy honestly, it felt like we all won. The mother champion. Indeed, Townsend's triumph takes on another layer when viewed through the lens of motherhood. She gave birth to her son, Adam, in 2021, and returned to the tour with even more fire. The road back was grueling, from sleepless nights to pumping between matches, but Townsend never asked for sympathy. She asked only for a fair shot. Now, as a mom and a winner, she's setting an example for women everywhere, that motherhood doesn't signal the end of ambition, but can ignite it. After her win, she looked toward the stands, where her son clapped gleefully, unaware of the history his mother had just made. Every time I look at him, she said in her on-court interview, voice cracking, I remember why I do this. This is for him, for every sacrifice, for every woman who was told she had to choose between her dream and her family. You can have both. The sisterhood of tennis. The outpouring of love didn't stop with Gauff and Pegula. Madison Keys reposted a photo of Townsend holding the trophy with the caption, Told y'all she was different. Queen stuff. Crown. Sloane Stevens commented, You better let them know. Proud is an understatement. Even Billie Jean King tweeted, At Taylor Townsend, your grit, your grace, your game, extraordinary. You inspire. Congratulations, champion. What stood out was not just the victory, but the type of celebration it received. It wasn't just about stats or rankings. It was about justice, recognition, a correcting of years of oversight. Deserves it all. The phrase deserves it all started trending after Gauff's post, becoming a rallying cry of support. It was used in Instagram captions, tweet replies, and even in posters held up by fans at the Citi DC Open final. And perhaps no one embodied that sentiment more than Townsend herself. I've been working in silence, praying loud, she said during the trophy ceremony. This win is not just for me. It's for every person who kept pushing when they felt unseen. She paused, taking in the crowd and the weight of her own words. I know what it feels like to be counted out, but I also know how powerful it is when you believe in yourself. And I just want everyone watching to know, no matter what they tell you, no matter how long it takes, if you love what you do, keep showing up, because you deserve it all. The ripple effect. Townsend's win isn't just a footnote in the doubles draw of a summer tournament. It's a cultural moment, a reminder that talent doesn't always rise in a straight line, that brilliance can be patient, that sometimes the brightest glow comes from someone who's had to walk through the darkest nights. For Coco Gauff, it's a reminder of the legacy they're all trying to build, one that makes room for every kind of body, background, and journey.